Hello, sports fellow enthusiasts. Welcome to yet another episode of your favorite sportainment channel, GameGaze Hub. Today we are going to focus on cricket. As you know, there is a World Cup going on in India, and we cannot miss out on all the excitement that follows this event. So, we have decided to become your guide and walk you through stats, records, trivia, and highlight performances of all participating nations from World Cup tournaments. Let's start with the champions of champions, the most decorated team in the Cricket World Cup history, Australia. Australia's dominance in the Cricket World Cup tournaments is legendary, marking them as one of the most successful and formidable cricket nations in the history of the sport. The Australian cricket team is renowned for producing legends like Sir Donald Bradman, Shane Warne, Ricky Ponting, Glenn McGrath, Adam Gilchrist, Steve Waugh, and more recently, players like David Warner and Steve Smith are just a few examples of the cricketing giants who have left an indelible mark on the World Cup and the sport. Aussies has established its legacy through an impressive record of victories and consistency in the Cricket World Cup. Since the tournament's inception in 1975, Australia has been a dominant force, consistently reaching the latter stages and clinching the championship a record 5 times. Let's see how Australia performed in the World Cups till now. The Australian cricket team is the most successful team in the Cricket World Cup, having won it in 1987, 1999, 2003, 2007 and 2015 editions. This also makes them the only team to have won the World Cup in all regions, group of countries that have hosted the World Cup till now. They have played a total of 97 World Cup matches with an overall win-loss record of 70-25. They are also considered tournament favourites for every World Cup, right from 1975 to the present. These moments are written in stone in history of Australian cricket, thanks to circumstances surrounding them. I hope you realize that you've just lost the game for your team. In a do-or-die Super Sixes match against South Africa, Australia were in a precarious position at 48 for 3. Steve Waugh came into the crease and played a captain's knock, scoring an unbeaten 120 to help his side win by 5 wickets in a thrilling run chase. One of the most memorable moments of the match was when Herschel Gibbs dropped a catch from Waugh when he was on 56. In his anxiety to celebrate with a skyward hurl, Gibbs dropped the ball. Waugh's reaction has gone down in the game's annals. Though he admitted later that it was stupid, he told Gibbs, "I hope you realize that you have lost the game for your team." Century using a squash ball in his glove. Adam Gilchrist's explosive century in the 2007 World Cup final is one of the most memorable innings in cricket history. In the final against Sri Lanka, Gilchrist scored an unbeaten 149 of just 104 balls. The innings remains the highest individual score in a tournament decider and is considered one of the greatest ever innings in ODI cricket's biggest stage. His blistering knock included 8 sixes and 13 fours. What made his innings even more remarkable was that Gilchrist had a squash ball inside his left glove during the innings. The squash ball was suggested by Bob Mollerman, a Perth-based coach, as a training aid to help Gilchrist avoid hitting across the line of swinging deliveries. The idea was to keep his bottom hand loose, allowing his top hand to control the bat. "We will bowl first. Would like to know what we are chasing." Indian captain Sourav Ganguly is still blamed for Indian loss of 2003 World Cup final, as he decided to mimic Australia's successful run chase in the 1999 World Cup final and decided to bowl first. At the toss he said, "We will bowl first in the final. Would like to know what we are chasing." The opportunity to bat first on Johannesburg's pitch was taken hands-on by Australian team. Ricky Ponting's brutal assault on the Indian bowlers in the 2003 final is still vivid in memory. His explosive 140 not out in 121 balls, featuring 8 towering sixes, led Australia to a formidable 359 for 2. In return, the Indian team was bundled out for 234, giving Australia a mammoth win margin of 125 runs, biggest margin to date. The brilliant century by Ponting made Ganguly eat his words. Glenn McGrath, 1999, 2003 and 2007 World Cups. Glenn McGrath was one of the most unforgettable parts of the 1999, 2003 and 2007 World Cup editions, which were won by the Australian side. He played the role of the cornerstone in Australia's bowling lineup in all 3 editions and helped his team in lifting the trophies. Adam Gilchrist, 2007 World Cup final. Adam Gilchrist, the West Australian wicketkeeper, scored 50s during each of Australia's World Cup finals in 1999 and 2003. But his century at Kingston Oval final was on a whole new level. Ricky Ponting, 1996 to 2011. Ricky Ponting has been one of the most successful captains in World Cup history. Australia was the most dominating team in world cricket when they had Ricky Ponting as the leader of their side. David Warner, 2015 World Cup. David Warner toppled Matthew Hayden's record to score the highest individual score by an Australian in World Cup history. Mitchell Starc, 2015 World Cup. Mitchell Starc was a key player in Australia's 2015 World Cup victory, taking 22 wickets at an average of 10.18 and an economy rate of 3.50. Mark Waugh, 1996 World Cup. Mark Waugh had only opened the batting a handful of times at the international level before the 1996 World Cup, but he proved his worth at the top of the order during the group stage. He scored a classy 126 against host India, combining with captain Mark Taylor for a 103-run opening stand. He became the first men's cricketer to score consecutive World Cup centuries. Steve Waugh, 1999. His only World Cup century came against South Africa in the 1999 World Cup, which is considered one of the greatest innings in cricket history. This 120 not out by Steve Waugh when Australia were 48 for 3 is remembered not only for its brilliance but also for its significance in Australia's journey to winning the World Cup that year. Matthew Hayden, 2007 World Cup. After smacking a record-breaking 66-ball 100 against South Africa in the group stage in the 2007 World Cup, Matthew Hayden backed it up with another scintillating knock against the hosts. He blasted 14 boundaries and 4 sixes on his way towards 158, the highest individual score by an Australian in World Cup history, until David Warner toppled the record 8 years later. Shane Warne, 1996 to 1999. Shane Warne, one of the greatest spinners in cricket history, had several match-winning spells in the Cricket World Cups. Here are some highlights. 1996 World Cup semi-final. In a crucial knockout clash against West Indies at Mohali, he trapped Jimmy Adams in front and bowled the crucial penultimate over of the innings, trapping Ian Bishop LBW to claim his 4th wicket. 1999 World Cup semi-final. In a match against South Africa, they were chasing 213. With 43 for no loss when Warne entered. With the second ball of his second over, he bowled a beauty that fizzed past a dumbfounded Gibbs to clip off. 5 deliveries later, Kirsten went down to sweep, missed and the ball hit off again. Cronje lasted just 2 deliveries as an attempted flick to the onside went to first slip. 1999 World Cup final. Australia won the 1999 World Cup in England, where Warne again took centre stage against Pakistan in the final at Lord's. A spell of 4 for 33 in a blistering 9-over spell helped skittle Pakistan out for just 132. These performances by Warne not only highlight his individual brilliance but also his significant contribution to Australia's success in the Cricket World Cups. Let's look at some notable stats and records for the Australian cricket team in the World Cup. Australia has played a total of 96 World Cup matches, which is the highest of any team. Their overall win-loss record is 69-25. Giving them the highest win percentage among all teams playing in the World Cup. There was one tied match and 2 matches were abandoned due to rain. The highest score is 417 against Afghanistan in 2015. The lowest score is 129 versus India in 1983. David Warner holds the record for the highest individual score. He scored a blistering 166 against Bangladesh. Other notable run scorers include Matthew Hayden, Adam Finch and Adam Gilchrist. Glenn McGrath has taken 71 wickets in 39 matches. Australia's unbeaten streak, 1999 to 2011. Australia had an unbeaten streak in the World Cup from 1999 to 2011. They were undefeated for 12 years and 34 matches. This streak was led by Steve Waugh and Ricky Ponting. They won 32 out of 34 matches, with 1 tie against South Africa in 1999 and 1 no result against Sri Lanka in 2011. Highest team score in a World Cup final, 2003. The highest team score in a World Cup final was made by Australia in the 2003 Cricket World Cup. They scored a total of 359 runs against India. Greatest win margin. The greatest win margin in World Cup cricket is 275. Australia 417. Versus Afghanistan 142 in 2015 at WACA, Perth, Australia. lowest win margin, 1 run in 2 matches, both against India in 1987 and 1992. Best bowling average, 15.14 of Mitchell Starc. Most catches, 24 catches by Ricky Ponting. Most wickets in a single tournament, 27 by Mitchell Starc in 2019. Australia's World Cup victories have had a significant impact on the country's cricket culture. The team's success has helped to increase interest in the sport, with more people playing and watching cricket than ever before. The victories have also helped to boost the country's economy with increased tourism and merchandise sales. Australia's World Cup victories have also been celebrated with great enthusiasm. For example, after Australia's historic World Cup win over New Zealand in 2015, thousands of fans gathered in Melbourne's Federation Square to celebrate their 5th World Cup trophy. Partied late till the middle of the night, and there were riotous scenes in Sydney too. In conclusion, Australia's journey in the Cricket World Cup has been remarkable, and they continue to be a strong contender in the tournament. Their current preparations and future prospects look promising as they aim for their 6th title. That's all for today, folks. Join us again for another in-depth analysis of another cricket team. Don't forget to like, subscribe and press the bell icon so that you don't miss any update. Thanks for watching GameGaze Hub.